What up, though? What's good, y'all? It's Aaron Duncan here with Unnecessary Bluntness Sports Talk. This is a Unnecessary Bluntness Sports Talk Wednesday live stream, man. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in. Thank you. Give yourself a round of applause. It's hump day. We're not that far from week 2, believe it or not. I've been rolling around in my feelings so long. Time has kind of got by me. We're already at Wednesday. Excuse me, my voice is cooked still. I'm recovering from the game, from yelling. Funny part about it, I was yelling at the Jazz game. I was only yelling for about 2.5, 3 quarters when the game was actually interesting. Of course, we had the weather delay. I didn't even yell all 4 quarters, and I still lost my voice. Regardless, I'm drinking water. No alcohol for me tonight. I want to try this new series called After Further Review, where I watch the tape, I take my notes, I look at some advanced stats and statistics, and just try to break down to you guys what exactly went wrong and try to go in depth. I dropped a film breakdown today on the defense specifically. Trust and believe, guys, I got to make some shake. I'm not going to lie to you. It's so hard now with NFL Pro. They've made it easier to watch and digest the film, but they've become like the Chinese government in terms of just like censoring and copyright strikes and stuff like that in terms of these film breakdowns. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm probably going to have to drop a membership for the channel and then put those videos behind that. So as long as I'm not running ads on it, I can still have it as membership. It'll be something basic for the membership, but it's just the best way for me to be able to get out film breakdowns without it getting copyright struck, me getting my channel jeopardized and all that good stuff. So that's what I'm thinking about doing. If I did a membership, would you guys be interested in something like maybe a $7.99 or $9.99 a month? And I just give you all my chop ups, my clips, full breakdowns, of course, but also like just full clips of player profiles and stuff real quick every week after every game when I go through. Something you guys may be interested in, I thought about, but that's my backup plan. But for now, I'm doing this long form setting where I talk about what happened during the game. So let me get through these super chats really quick as well. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in right now. Shout out to Nicole S on the super chat. Appreciate you, Miss Lady. Said, what up, though? What up, though? What's going on with you? It's Wednesday. Appreciate you supporting. Always showing love. Shout out to the support. Shout out to Jarrell Mason on the super chat as well. Round of applause. Said the defense plays this bad again against Arizona. Do you think Evero's bags will already be packed out of Charlotte? We'll talk about that a little bit more in this After Further Review episode. But after 2 games, I do not think so. I personally do not think so. I think if you're going to bring them back, give them a good chunk of time until it gets like the wheels fall off. Okay, whatever. But I think there's identifiable issues on this defense that we'll talk about and see what the process is moving forward. Can it get better? Can it not? Who knows? Turtle Man, what up? Said Panthers been a win next week. I hope so. Said 999, bro. That's Netflix. Who Netflix? Not my Netflix. My Netflix ain't that price. Shoot. I wish. Make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up as well. It really helps me out in the algorithm. But I got some slides that I want to get to and get through this breakdown. I'll probably do the audio on this. So shout out to everybody who's listening to the audio on this. If you're a truck driver, you can't really watch the videos. This is not a film breakdown. It won't be film clips. There will be slides for support, but I'll walk through and talk through everything as well. So you won't miss anything but my pretty face and maybe some pretty pictures of your favorite player for the Panthers. Bear with me. I got this voice issues. I got these voice issues, man, but what's happened? But let's go ahead and get into the thing. Okay. So let's start with the offense, man. Start with the offense. So the offense's performance, I thought was pretty interesting. We only put up 10 points, which is a stinker. I think that's unacceptable overall. Obviously, a lot of the drives, we moved the ball, but we had a 4th down on the goal line that we didn't convert. And then once you get towards the end of the game, you start chasing those 4th downs. You're not taking the points. stuff like that. Then that's when it gets ugly. But 10 points, man, it's just unacceptable, dog. It's unacceptable. It is. I mean, you got an offensive coach. You got a first overall pick at quarterback. You got 2,000-yard running backs. You got a top 10 pick at wide receiver in Tedero McMillan. You have a pretty solid offensive line. 10 points just seems unacceptable with all those things, you know what I'm saying, going your way. That's just my opinion. That's my opinion. But 10 points is tough. But here's what I noticed on offense. Let's get into it. So I did see some run game versatility. I don't think it was productive enough, obviously. The team run production overall, if you look at the box score from the game, it wasn't anything to write home about, right? Like it was just, what do we have? A total of 113 rushing yards. So wasn't anything to write home about. Of course, a lot of those yards came on Bryce scrambles. Chuba averaged less than 4 yards per carry. It seems like he would pop a big run, but there was a couple ones where they end up stalemating. It just felt like we could get certain things when we wanted to at times. We would pop a good 7-8 yards here or there, but then when we get stymied at times on a couple other ones. But I did like that instead of we just doing the normal mid inside zone that we do, we mixed it up. I saw some pin and pulls. I saw us pull all three of the interior line. We gave Trevor Etienne some carries, well, a carry. We pulled all three of our linemen. I saw a counter run with pulling the tight end and the tackle as well. And so that's something that was lacking from the offense last year that I thought. Last year, a lot of it was just duo. A lot of it was just the mid zone, some outside zone. We would throw a toss in there every so often, but there just wasn't a lot of versatility to our run game. So I was actually happy to see that facet of the game added. Also, there was too many empty drives. Too many empty drives, particularly in that middle 8 part of the game. When I say middle 8, that's the last 4 minutes of the first half and the first 4 or so minutes of the second half. Everything around that area was like empty. So let's look at this. Going back to the second quarter, the drive that we had to fumble on, we started at our own 40. At the 40-yard line. The 40-yard line, guys. He kicked it out of bounds. Remember, he kicked it out of bounds. So you end up getting it at the 40 after you kick it out of bounds. And so I'm like, man, we're in prime field position. At that point, we are down. Obviously, 2 possessions, excuse me. But I'm like, man, we get the ball back after half. This is the chance to get a pretty good drive together. You know what I'm saying? This is when we throw the back shoulder to T-Mac. And then it gets called back because an eligible player downfield. A lot of people blame Austin Corbett because he was the one downfield. But that play was an RPO. It should have been a run play. Bryce Young pulled it and threw the back shoulder because he had the proper read. It's his prerogative. But when you're going to do that, you have to get the ball out soon enough. Because Austin Corbett was 3 yards downfield. So if you don't get the ball out fast enough, stuff like that happens. Now, was anybody expecting Austin Corbett to be able to get to the second level that easy when we haven't been able to all year? No, but as the quarterback, if you're going to do that, you have to get the ball out quick. And you can see Bryce, he kind of stuttered his feet a little bit. You kind of got to catch and throw when you're going to go RPO because that's how fast the ball needs to get out. So I think Corbett caught a lot of flack for that, but that one was more so on Bryce than anything. But regardless, we ended up getting a nice 8-yard run from Chuba. We ended up getting a chunk pass to Jatavian Sanders down the seam. We were really, really cooking on that drive. And that's when we threw it to Xavier Legette on the outside. He didn't get the feet in, unfortunately. And then he tried to dump it off to Chuba. And then when Bryce tried to scramble on third down, he fumbled. Empty possession. After that, they turn around and get a field goal because we fumbled. And then it's halftime. Next drive, coming out of halftime. Short kick that didn't go in the landing zone. We get the ball at the 40-yard line again. This drive comes up empty. a 9-yard pass, 2-yard run, 9-yard run. And we end up getting the pass interference penalty to move us down the field thanks to T-Mac. A nice 8-yard run by Chuba. And then 2 runs that we fall short. And we try to get to that goal line. We run that weird play. Bryce Young doesn't really keep it in play. Seems like it was some kind of miscommunication. I don't think Bryce was just trying to throw it away because it's the way it looked. I guess. I don't know. It was tough. Regardless, an empty drive. It was an empty drive. And then it just seems like that last drive going in and that drive coming out, we just didn't get anything from it. We didn't. And they burned 5 minutes in the third quarter doing that. And in that first possession was only a minute, but you burned it there. Then another one, after that, you only get 10 yards on the drive. 4-yard run, 3-yard run, 6-yard pass, 9-yard run. Then a sack. You net 10 yards on the drive, and it takes 4 minutes. You wasted 9 minutes in the third quarter with the ball, and you got nothing to show for it. Nothing. And so it was just, again, too many empty drives. And then, of course, the lack of explosives. And lack of explosives are 10-yard runs and 20-yard passes down the field. We had 3 total explosives all day. 1 10-yard run, and I think that was Bryce Young on a scramble. And then 2 20-yard receptions. Offense is going to be too hard to execute when you're getting just a handful of yards every other play. You need some easy, explosive plays to really move the ball down the field easy. You're leaving yourself open for too many mistakes when you have to nickel and dime to get the ball down the field. You are. And so I just think the offense was just, man, it was abysmal. It was really abysmal. All right, but let's talk about Bryce. How concerning was Bryce Young's performance? So the box score, playing pure raw, whatever you want to call them, those numbers were ugly. 18 for 35, 154 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Not ideal. Not ideal. You know what I mean? But if you go to Pro Football Focus, which I thought was very, very interesting, Pro Football Focus had Bryce Young at a 71.8 passing grade. That's kind of respectable. That was the 15th highest in the league. So as a pure passer, passing the ball just period, Pro Football Focus had Bryce Young at 15. You may not be a PFF guy. I'm not a huge PFF guy. I love their statistics and what they keep up with. Their grades, But I think it can put it in perspective for some of you guys that may think I'm biased. They're usually pretty rough on Bryce. They thought Bryce had the 15th highest passing grade. They gave him an adjusted completion percentage of 70%. That includes 3 drops, 1 batted pass, and 2 throwaways. So they adjusted the completion percentage to show you what the pure, completion percentage was, and it was 70. It was 70. Not too bad, I guess, right? I don't know. But he was sacked once. His pressure to sack ratio was only 8.3. So not bad, if we're being honest. Not bad at all there. But it doesn't match the eye test because Bryce Young had 3 total turnovers. I think what it comes down to is this. When it comes to just straight playing the quarterback, throwing the ball, like what he did throwing, I thought Bryce Young had a pretty solid game overall. Missed some throws. 2 targets down the field to Renfro he missed. That definitely sticks out. Those were kind of brutal. I thought going to Tedero McMillan, there was a couple they were just like weird, that they weren't even close. Of course, he threw the one out of bounds kind of so much in the red zone on that fourth down. But overall, I thought he had some good throws. There were some drops that he was let down by. Jatavian Sanders, a drop. He kind of threw a hospital ball to Renfro across the middle. So I guess you can't call that a drop. They may call it a drop on PFF. But I thought when he was clean, the ball was delivered. The problem with Bryce Young's performance is playing quarterback is all of the above. You can't just throw the ball in terms of playing quarterback. You have to manage the down and distance, know the down and distance, know when to make the proper decision, when to run and when to throw. Getting your team out of the huddle, checking to the right protection, knowing that, hey, we're in field goal range, I can't take a sack here. Or, hey, we're in field goal range, I can't fumble here. Taking care of the football, being smart, managing the game. I think Jalen Hurts gets a lot of flack for his style of play, but he does a great job managing the game and winning games, doing things that's necessary, where he knows what works and knows what will win the game. Now, does his style of play warrant top 10 quarterback play? That's a whole different argument. But you can't argue with the results of him doing what he has to do. No matter how much talent is around him, I guess, he does what he has to do to make sure he doesn't mess it up for the talent, with all the talent around him. He knows that, hey, I have a good team around me. I have this on the other side with the defense, or I know what the situation is for this game. All we need is a first down and move the sticks. Let me go run and get it myself. Don't put the ball in harm's way. Manages the game. Again, not top 5 quarterback, in my opinion, that all these Eagle fans want to argue. But I think if Bryce Young played like that and took things into his own hands like that, it would go a long way. I think it's a great style for Bryce Young right now, because we know Bryce Young can throw the ball when necessary. But managing the game is a big part of playing quarterback. Using your legs more. If you're not halfway sure about what you see, like that Xavier Legette interception, I don't think he saw the safety personally. But if you're not completely sure about what you see, just use your legs and go get it. If they're going to give you the scramble, go get it. So, like, man, doing the little stuff, doing everything it takes to play quarterback. You can have a solid passing grade, a 71.8, like Pro Football Focus said, but you still have to manage the game on a down-by-down basis. Understand, hey, this is first down. My defense is not playing good. I can't turn the ball over here. Instead of thinking, oh, I need to press because I have a garbage defense, you need to say, let me take care of the ball. Let me not put them in a position where they're on a short field. Let me understand that, hey, my team gets the ball back after halftime. I need to make sure I don't fumble the ball here, because we're guaranteed to at least get 3 points. If we get 3 points and we go into the half, 17-6, and we get the ball back after, we're down 11 points and we get the ball back in the third quarter. Let me not fumble the ball. When I'm scrambling, all I need to do is slide. I may not get the first down, but I have necessary yardage for a field goal. So let me just get down and protect the ball completely. But he didn't do that. He turned the ball over. And then the defense proceeded to give up a chunk play and then gave up points before the half, making the deficit even bigger. So I just think that's the things about playing quarterback that Bryce Young has to get better at. And that's going to make him more consistent. The highs are great. We saw the highs down the backstretch of the season. But the lows are like borderline unwatchable. It makes you want to throw up. He needs to, you don't want the peaks and valleys. We want consistency. We want consistency so we know what we're getting every week. If you're so helter-skelter, it's hard to make a living in the NFL like that. But on a down-by-down basis, you have to be able to manage the down and distance, the game, and just knowing what's up, what's coming up, what the defense is trying to do to you. What's your defense doing today on the other side of the football? Are we running the ball? Can I get it with my legs? throwing it away sometimes. Taking a sack isn't the worst thing in the world here. Let me just keep the ball in play and give my guy a chance. Or F it. T-Mac is down there. So those type of decisions on a down-by-down basis to take care of the ball. Because hell, what? We gave up 10 points off turnovers? 10 points off turnovers, right? So there's a point where you have to play complementary football, and Bryce has to master that. He does. He does. He has to master that. And just take care of the football and manage the game on a down-by-down basis. Again, you can take a page out of the Jalen Hurts playbook. Because it ain't pretty. It damn sure it's not pretty. But it wins the game and it's effective for them. And that's the point we're trying to get to. We're not worried about being sexy right now. We need to figure things out, get consistent, and win some games. Don't shoot ourselves in the foot. We need to help ourselves. Let me get into the comments really quick, and I'll keep going with these slides. Shout out to everybody that support with the super chat. Shout out to Nick Rosa on the super chat. Said Bryce needs to learn to slide and use his legs more. If these defenses don't fear the scramble, they can just sit back in coverage. I agree. I think last year down the stretch, he actually did it more. I think the Cardinals game was probably one of the first games last year where he really, like, every time there was an opportunity to scramble, he took it. He even lowered the shoulder on a guy. He had a rushing touchdown. It was Bryce really started pressing and using his legs at that point of the season. I felt like that was the turning point. Maybe it happens again this week. Who knows? But I definitely think he needs to use his legs a lot more, be more willing to run and slide so you can get down and protect yourself and the ball. If you slide feet first, you're not going to fumble. A lot of his fumbles during scrambling, remember last year against the Dallas Cowboys, Micah Parsons punched it out, the same type of stumbling thing that he did. This past Sunday, same thing, scrambling, running forward, got it punched out before he fell to the ground, keeping the ball loose away from his body on the way to the ground. He definitely got to get that slide going. And if you dive, just dive. Don't be stumbling. Just dive. Dive at the dirt. Find a spot on the ground and dive and try to jump and land on it. You know what I mean? But appreciate you, Nick, on the super chat. Shout out to Buddy on the super chat. To be honest, Bryce is not that guy. Let's be honest. I mean, you free to feel how you want to feel, man. Bryce is the guy right now for sure. We've seen the flashes. We have. He just got to be consistent. Flashes show the potential, but if you're not doing it on a consistent basis, you can't win with that. Again, you have to worry about getting consistent. The highs, the lows, the roller coaster, man. You're not going to be able to make a living. We're not going to be able to rely on that. We have to be able to build consistency. And doing the little stuff is the way to start. Doing the little stuff is a way to start. Shout out to Deagle on the super chat. So I'm a Bryce stan. Give me a reason to believe. Look, man. Don't look to me. I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy. Don't look at me. I'm just a guy. You can believe. Look. I told y'all I'm not arguing with anybody within the fan base no more about Bryce. You got it. You gonna believe what you want to believe. There's no convincing one way or the other anybody. Everybody's dug in on Bryce. There's no point in me engaging in the arguments. I'm not here to prove anything. I'm here to just analyze what he's doing and then proceeding to move forward. I'm not getting in no arguments, man. It's not worth it. I'm done. I made a resolution for 2025. I'm not arguing with anybody within our fan base about Bryce Young. I'm not trying to prove anything about Bryce Young to anybody. I'm sorry. But it's week 1. Clearly, they didn't play in preseason. A bunch of other teams laid eggs, too. A quarterback play was stinky over this first week. We, believe it or not, Miami scored less points than us, and they have more speed and weapons on the outside. Could be worse. 16 more games, though. We gonna see. Shout out to Victoria Springs on the super chat. Is my applause working? Is my applause working? I think it's working. It wasn't working earlier. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Appreciate that super chat. She didn't leave a message in there. Let's see if she actually messaged in the chat. Let me check. Let me check. If not, I still appreciate the support. Thank you. Yes, I appreciate the support, Victoria. Much, much love. Appreciate the support for everybody on the independent creator grind. Shout out to y'all for supporting. Said good job noticing your error and switching to Jaguars. Yeah, somebody pointed it out. El Sauce said, keep up the good work. Hey, appreciate it, man. Shout out to Buddy on the super chat. Where's my applause? Said year 3 already. No excuse. Same player, same attitude. Yeah, we gonna see. They're gonna give Bryce the year. So we can. No excuse is fine. Again, I'm not here to argue. I'm just going off the tape and the numbers. Again, the tape, I talked about it. The numbers, PFF gave him a 70.1. I said that throwing the ball, he looked about what that grade is. That grade is actually pretty fair. But everything else that goes with the quarterback position, that's where he was falling short. That's where he was falling short. It was a lot of little things. It's about the margins, man. The NFL is about the margins. The margins. Appreciate you, buddy, on the super chat. Victoria, she left a message in this super chat. Appreciate you. She said, Evero's scheme is trash. Let's be honest. We got too many cats in positions where dogs belong. And that's a word. And we're going to talk about the defense a little bit. So I'm going to save my full thoughts about this because my frustrations on the defense. I already dropped one video on the defense earlier today, the film breakdown. Y'all might have saw it, but we're going to talk about the defense too. But I appreciate that, Victoria. I'm gonna come back to this comment a little later when we talk about the defense because I got the defense coming up next. All right, so let's get back to the slides. All right, so who was the offensive standout? Man, oh man. Teteroa McMillan is really going to be one of them ones. Listen, I don't know how many times I got to show y'all the tape, the film. I got to make shorts. I had to sign it. I don't know if I need to do ASL, put captions on my videos. Teteroa McMillan is going to be one of them ones. I'm telling y'all. No if, bro. He looked like the best player on the field. Period. But it just, the route running, the ability to catch the ball. He showed the deep prowess, the acrobatic catch. He almost had another one-hand acrobatic catch down the field if dude didn't pull his arm. He got interfered with and still almost came up with catch of the year. The numbers don't jump off. He finished with 68 yards, but he had the most receiving yards out of any rookie in the league in week 1. And it could have easily been more. The back shoulder fade was called back. They didn't review the catch of the year. That was 26-yard penalty. You add that, that's what, 26 plus 15, 41 yards. That puts him over 100 yards. Puts him at 109 if he gets those. This dude is going to be a problem. He already looks like he was worth that top 10 pick that we spent on him. He's already Bryce's favorite receiver. He got on the all-white Jordan cleats. These are pretty. You see them Jordan cleats he got on? Are them 11s? Are those 11s? The Jordan cleats, the Jordan gloves. He had the pacifier in. This dude, hey man, I'm glad he on our team. I'm glad this dude is on our team, man. No doubt. Because it's just going to get better and better to watch him, man. As him and Bryce get more time on task. We saw him win going deep. Bryce got hit as he threw. He was going to win on that post route. He didn't face as much press coverage as we thought. People thought that, he's going to get they don't really pressing that much in the NFL like people think. The NFL plays a lot of zone. People had a lot of concerns about him playing press physical coverage. A lot of teams don't do that. Some teams do, but a lot of teams don't. And so I think the next step for Tetairoa McMillan is for Dave Canales to figure out how to get him even more involved. He had 9 targets. 9 targets, which is fine. But I think only lining up him on the outside is a mistake. Looking at his breakdown, he lined up out wide at receiver 46 times. He lined up in the slot 7 times. Okay, that's pretty good. But I hear y'all people in the comments concerned about all the attention he's going to get. He's going to get so much attention. He's going to get so much attention. So you don't think these other wide receiver ones in the league get attention too? It's up to the coaches and the quarterback to figure out how to get in the ball. You don't think people try to bracket Jefferson? You don't think Jamar Chase sees attention in bracket coverage? So get that man the football. Get him the football. And so Dave Canales needs to put him in the slot more. I want to see him going in motion more. I didn't see him go in motion one time at all. Put him in the slot. Put him in motion. Give him those single opportunities outside. Do a lot of things to move him around. You got to get creative. When you have a guy like this, you have to get creative and get him the ball. At this point, if he doesn't get double-digit targets every game, shame on Dave Canales and shame on Bryce Young. That's where we at right now. Especially with Jalen Coker out. Shame on him if he doesn't get 10 targets a game. I'm being dead serious. And 10 may be conservative. 10 may be conservative. Find a way to get this brother the football. Find a way. I don't care. But he was one of the main breakouts on offense in terms of skill guys. Get him the ball. My other offensive standout, Taylor Moton. Taylor Moton in game 1 already looking like he's worth every penny of that contract extension that he signed. According to ESPN, Taylor Moton had a pass block win rate of 100%. I'm going to say that again. According to ESPN, Taylor Moton had a pass block win rate of 100%. He was only credited with 1 pressure on 26 pass block reps, according to PFF. So PFF ain't have him perfect like ESPN did. ESPN, if you win within 2.5 seconds, it's a win. So he didn't give up any quick pressure. Taylor Moton, 100%. That means he didn't lose any regular pass rush snaps. He didn't lose any of them. No L's. None. Undefeated. Floyd Mayweather. This brother went perfect from the field. It's crazy. And so again, looking like he's worth every penny. Some people were clowning him for the little rep he had in the Texans game in preseason, saying that he was overpaid, saying that he was being soft for crying on that stand. But 100% pass block win rate on 26 reps. 26. That boy good. That boy good. That boy good. He just quietly goes about his business, protects that quarterback. Hey, man. It's a nice thing when you have a guy like this that you can count on and be consistent. That's what we're talking about, consistency. Same thing with Bryce. Like Taylor Moton may not be the best, apparently, because he's not the elite run blocker, but he's consistent. You're going to get the same Timo every week. And being able to count on that means something. Icky can be very helter-skelter as well himself as a tackle. Obviously, he's a little bit better than the guy that was in there. But, again, consistency goes a long way. Shout out to Timo, man. Shout out to Timo. This is nuts. This is nuts. It's really, really nuts. But I want to take a moment to talk about the offensive line as a whole, because I honestly think overall the performance, it wasn't great, but it wasn't that bad. It was really Yosh Nijman that was the issue. Yosh Nijman gave up 6 pressures on his own. 6 total pressures surrendered on his own. That's nuts. I want to look at how many we gave up total. We allowed 8 pressures on the day. We only allowed 8 pressures overall. And Yosh was one of them. I mean, Yosh had all of them but one. The other one went to Rico. So Austin Corbett gave up 1. Yosh gave up 6. And nobody else on the offensive line gave up a pressure. Again, in pass protection, that's not that bad. That's not that bad, you know? So it was really just Yosh. Yosh, 6. 6. On 43 dropbacks, 6. That's 15%. It's not good, man. It's not good, man. I'm not going to lie to you. 6 pressures allowed for Yosh Nijman ain't good. We need Icky back in the worst way. You know, it's crazy. Like, you don't really appreciate Icky until he's not there, right? You don't. Like, Yeah, Icky can have his moments. He'll get his holding call here. He'll give up an untimely sack or maybe have a false start. But dang, we ain't know how solid bro was until we ain't have him. Until bro was up out of there, we ain't have him. But I thought Damian Lewis was solid overall. Corbett, his performance, man, the snaps were just not it, bro. The snapping was just not it. And that's part of the position. But the snaps just weren't it. The location. They were high. They were right. They were left. That matters. I'm struggling. But again, overall, it wasn't the worst thing in the world. Actually, I apologize. I'm looking at this. Damian Lewis gave up 2, and Taylor Moton gave up 1. So it was 11. Josh Neisman gave up 6 out of 11 pressures. Taylor Moton had 1. Damian Lewis had 1. Corbett had 1. Damian Lewis had 2, excuse me. But the pass block grades overall, Taylor Moton had an 80. Robert Hunt had a 79. Damian Lewis had a 71. But then you have Josh with a 38, and Corbett had even worse. A lot of that pass blocking probably had to do with the snapping as well. But the run block grade, Austin Corbett was a 75, and Josh was an 80 as well. So run game, not bad. Pass block, but the offensive line, it was a tough opponent. I can't even lie. Bryce, at times, it just seemed like he didn't look comfortable. And when we had opportunities down the field, he was either rushed because of the pass rush, or he was getting hit as he threw. Or again, that one blitz that came off the corner, didn't even really see it because he came from so far out, had T-Mac open on a post, wasn't able to connect. It's tough. It's tough. But all right. Let's switch over to this defense, man. And this is the part of the show where I'm gonna try my best to keep my composure. Matter of fact. Let me get to a couple of super chats before I do that. Oh, good point. I forgot to talk about Excel. Said, can we talk about Excel's lack of physicality, missing blocks and running sideways instead of just hitting upfield for the first down? Yeah, man. Excel, what a terrible game. What a terrible game for Excel. And I'm rooting for the dude. We can criticize. Well, I can criticize. I'm not gonna tell y'all how to do y'all thing because I know some of y'all get carried away. I see some of y'all getting carried away in the chat. We can criticize players, or you can too, but I'm not gonna tell you what to do. We can criticize players, point out their flaws, point out what they did wrong, and still support them. Me talking about a player doesn't mean I'm out on them. I don't think it doesn't mean that I don't think they're going to be whatever. If I think they need to be replaced or we need to get them out of there, I will make it clear. But there's a lot of people that jump to conclusions about what I think and feel about certain players based off of my analysis on a week-to-week basis. I can't be held responsible for how you interpret my takes. I'm breaking down on a week-by-week basis. I will let you know 100% when I'm out on the player. Just FYI. But yeah, Xavier Legette, man, I don't know. I don't know if it was the heat. I don't know if it's week 1 jitters or what. But man, the lack of fundamentals on the sideline, tapping your feet, getting 2 feet in bounds, the body control to be able to do that. It's just frustrating to see, right? That was a drive. That stalled the drive. That was a huge play on that corner route. That was routine. That was just careless to not drag your foot. It wasn't that difficult as the other one. That one on that play, the drive before halftime where he fumbled. Maybe Bryce isn't in a position to have to fumble if Xavier Legette taps that toe or drags the foot. But just the lack of sideline awareness to get the foot down, it's just, it makes you want to pull your hair out, dog. It does. But I hear you. That one rep where on the run play where he didn't, it wasn't a great block, and then the cornerback immediately got in the backfield and tackled Chuba. Can't have it. Got to be physical. Got to be physical. Got to block. If you're not going to bring it in a pass game, block. I mean, I know Mark Schlereth called him out. But you got to do the little stuff. The little stuff. But again, yeah, I agree. That screen, he should just got a feel, man. Just get a feel. He's not laterally quick. He needs to just get north to south as fast as possible. He's big, 215, 20 pounds, dude. Get a feel. If you don't want to get hit, just get down. Or cradle up and run. I promise you'll probably bounce off some guys. Trust your speed and your size. Get a feel, man. Appreciate you on the super chat, though. Shout out to my guy Philip Jones on the super chat as well. So I need to see Thornton and Ransom on the field. I'm wondering where Thornton. We're going to talk about the secondary. And we'll talk about safety as well, but I definitely think it's time to get some young guys involved, man. I think it's time to get some young guys involved. I think Dave Canales feels the same way. It's time to get some young guys involved, man. It's time. It's time, man. It's time. And somebody mentioned it. I think the performance of, and appreciate you, Philip, the performance of Nalo has really put a negative light on Xavier Legette. And I'll say this. Teteroy McMillan is a way better wide receiver prospect than Xavier Legette. He's way more polished, had way more production in college. That's just period. If Teteroy McMillan came out of college last year, he probably would have been wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 behind Neighbors and Harrison. I think he was better than Odunze personally. But he would have been probably wide receiver 3 last year in that deep class. But I think him being here has really given fans a look of like, because we've never drafted a guy this high that moves and plays like him and is this polished. It's really put a light. And so like, what Excel isn't, it's shown what Excel isn't. And I thought his presence would take more pressure off of it, Legette, to allow him to flourish a bit more. And it still can happen that way. But I just think it really put a spotlight on the difference between a top 10 pick and a late first, early second round prospect, right? It's really shed that light on the contrast and difference in the polish and the level of prospect that those two are. It's interesting to see how this stuff unfolds. But I'm not off of Excel, man. It behooves our team for Excel to work out. Not to mention, they moved up in the draft to get that 5th year on him because they knew he was going to need some time to develop. And Dave Canales said it at the draft process. He said he has a long way to go. He said that he had a long way to go. He said it then. So maybe it's a lot longer than we thought. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, yeah, Ladd was a later round pick, but Ladd is also never going to be. I don't think Ladd and, you know what I'm saying, Ladd and Nalo's ceilings aren't the same. Brian Thomas Jr. has a way higher ceiling than Ladd as well. Ladd is very good. He's quality. He's going to be consistent as well. He's going to be probably good for a long time. But the talent level, the athleticism, the size and stuff, you know what I mean? That's the difference when you're talking about it. He's not, like, Ladd is not going to have that ceiling of a Brian Thomas Jr., of a Malik Neighbors, right? That have those type of prospects and elite athletes. That's what I mean. Yeah, of course, being drafted late doesn't hinder you from anything and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But there's more often than not, there's a little bit of a difference in pedigree when you're talking about that draft placement. All right. So shout out to Rico Suave on the super chat. Said it looked like he didn't want to block after the Browns. True. Last time he got, because he was extra physical with that Browns defender. And then he ended up having to meet. Got kicked out of the game. So maybe that's why he was hesitant. Who knows? I don't know. All right, let's talk about the defense, man. So, on defense, we gave up 26 points. 26 points. 10 points are off turnovers again. We didn't get put in favorable positions. So it is, in terms of points surrendered, you have to blame the offense a little bit. And I know, before we get too deep, I know everybody and their mama hates Ejiro Evero. Y'all gonna call him Lil Bill, Mr. Dark Skin, Mr. Clean. What else y'all call him? They call him everything, bro. They call Ejiro everything. I know we don't like Ejiro, but there's a conversation to be had about the scheme, but also the players. What his role is in choosing those players, that's kind of fuzzy. But we definitely know that Dan Morgan is in charge of picking these guys. So there's a reason why Dan Morgan took the blame last year. I still personally think that we should have fired and got rid of Evero. So just to make it clear, I'm out on Evero, period. But again, I'm here to analyze on a game-by-game basis what I see on tape and break it down. Milk Dud. That's what Milk Dud had. I missed it. I missed one. Nicole said I didn't know they called him that. Yeah, they call him Milk Dud Head, Lil Bill, Dark Skin, Mr. Clean. They call that man everything but a child of God. But in terms of the run defense, guys, we gave up 200 yards. But I'm not going to lie. I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound crazy because we gave up 200, but outside of that 70-yard run, I don't think the run defense was that bad. And when I say that bad, I'm comparing it to last year, right? I'm comparing it to last year's historically bad defense. Remember, we gave up six 200-yard rushing games in a row to end the year. I do recall. But I just think in terms of overall, compared to last year, I thought the run defense was better than before. I'll say outside of that 70-yard run. If you watch my video, you'll see what happened on that 70-yard run. And with the Giro scheme, it's very heavily predicated on assignment football, which is a lot of run defense. It's about gap integrity and doing your job. doing your job, not trying to do too much, not trying to make up for somebody else because you see they're out of position, not trying to do too much because you know the guy beside you isn't the strongest run defender or the strongest tackler. It's about doing your job. And if you do your job and everybody else does their job, it looks pretty solid. I showed the reps on that film breakdown what happens when everybody does their job. I also showed what happens when everybody doesn't do their job. Evero had a solid run defense plan for the Jaguars. And I thought it was better compared to what he saw in Tampa last year. So he was preparing for that. He decided to play Turk Wharton and line him up on tight ends. So you saw Turk Wharton at defensive end at times, line up over tight ends. Granted, Turk Wharton is 280-something pounds. He's lined up with tight ends who are 230, 240. And he was just manhandling them every time. He was either getting off the blocks and making plays or he was getting held. He was a beast early on in the game before he got hurt. So that was their plan. Put an oversized lineman on attack on the tight end and go big. You had Derrick Brown. You had Ashawn inside as well. But then you ended up having a guy like Turk Wharton on the end at the end, lined up, head up with the tight end. I thought that was a great plan to try to take advantage of a matchup. Give yourself a favorable matchup. And we saw the flashes from Turk, you know? So, to me, I thought that was sound. The other part, which I broke down in my film breakdown, is those cutbacks. They overplay on the play side to force the running back to cut back. When he cut back, they had the edge rusher, whether it was DJ Wanham or Pat Jones, crash and collision with that tight end that was coming to block. With that, we would have the safety make a lot of tackles. And we saw Morig make some plays. We saw Mike Jackson make some plays in the tackles. We saw J.C. Horn make tackles there. So it was a sound plan. The execution is just piss poor. And you can blame coaching for that because I do too. Coaching is up to coaching to get these guys to execute your plan on a down in and down out basis. So I can't completely absolve him of blame because it's up to you to get the guys ready to do it. But I thought the run defense overall was improved. But that long run is not good for the averages. It's not good for the averages. You go from giving up 6 yards per carry, from 4 yards per carry to 6 yards per carry because of a long run. Not ideal. Another interesting thing. I thought Trayvon Morig's usage was very, very interesting for the first game. We heard a lot about his versatility during the offseason and how they plan to use him everywhere, whether it was in the box, at nickel, and at free safety. I looked at his snap usage according to Pro Football Focus. He spent 40 snaps in the box. 40. This is a safety spending 40 snaps in the box. 15 snaps outside in the slot, or AKA at nickel. And then he spent only 7 at free safety. So a lot of the times he was being used as a de facto linebacker in the box, 40 snaps. When he was down at nickel on the outside playing those times in coverage, I actually saw them putting Shaw Smith-Wade back at free safety. Shaw Smith-Wade had his own handful of snaps at free safety. 7 snaps for Shaw Smith-Wade at safety. Interesting. I like the nickel and diamond and the cat and mouse they were able to do. They moved around more. I was very curious about what his usage would be, and we got to see. This guy's going to be somebody that they move around a lot. Again, the physicality that he possesses, they're going to use him as an extra overhang defender to come in and run in the box and make some plays. I'll fault him for that 70-yard run, mainly for guessing wrong, picking the wrong gap. But he also made a bunch of plays too at the line of scrimmage, making some tackles in the box, being physical. He blitzed a few times as well, got some pass rush work. I think that they're going to keep continuing to move him around, and I'll be curious to see how they deploy him on a week-by-week basis. But it's giving real Buda Baker vibes, right? Buda Baker vibes is what it kind of gives. I mean, because we play Buda this week, but it gives real Buda Baker vibes about how they use him as kind of a de facto linebacker. So there were times where we would go 6 defensive backs, and it would be three? So it would be Nick Scott, Morig, and Ransom, and then Shaw, Mike Jack, and JC, and then it would only be Rosebloom in there, and then we would go 2 linebackers, quote unquote. It would be Morig and Rosebloom in the box as linebackers. Trevin Wallace would be off the field at times. So we're able to do a lot of things, running in 3 safety alignments, running big nickel, flip-flopping Shaw and Morig. So we get some versatility by being able to add Morig to the defense. I thought that was very, very interesting that I saw on tape. Morig, I thought in coverage, there was a few times where he gave up a few plays to the tight end, Strange, because coverage is not really his super strong point. But again, I think how they used him was very, very interesting. So just pay attention to his versatility going forward. Joe Clarity, what up, though? Pay attention to that going forward. Next up, the blitz rate. So last year, we were one of the higher rated blitz teams in the league. Why? Because our pass rush sucked. Fast forward a year later, we are below average in the league in terms of blitz rate. We blitz 18% of the time. That's down from 31%. Still not effective. Still the worst pressure team in the league. By far this week. Not by far, but we were the worst. We got to be able to get a pass rush. But I thought it was interesting that we didn't blitz as much. And when we did blitz, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. It left a lot to be desired on the blitzes. And that's always been a weak point. We don't have a lot of guys that are good at blitzing. We don't disguise the blitz as well. We don't come up to the line of scrimmage, crowd the line, and fake like we're gonna blitz and back out into coverage. We don't do any of that stuff. It feels like we line up and what you see is what you get. You heard Trevor Lawrence after the game said that they pretty much did exactly what we thought they were gonna do. We were prepared, and I felt comfortable. That's not what you want to hear from the opposition, especially when it's week 1. You're running cover 3 55% of the time according to metrics. You're not blitzing at a super high rate, and you're not pressuring. So your coverages are plain and are not disguised. And people know what you're going to run. Man. It's a tough way to make a living. I think the defensive scheme is just you can do something like, why not fake and show blitzes to help get some guys free? If you confuse the offensive line, maybe somebody can show up and go free. If you overwhelm them with good blitzes, maybe you can make some shake, because we don't have great blitzers. But if you at least show everybody coming and then people back out and do all their thing, like the Vikings do, like we see every other team do that disguises coverage, maybe you can make some things shake. But it feels like we line up and just try to out-execute guys. It's what you see and what you get, and we're going to try to out-execute you guys. But we don't really have the talent to out-execute anybody. But just watch. We don't really line up and fake and bluff. We don't bluff blitzes like, hey, we're going to come, and then everybody runs out. We don't. It's frustrating, man. It's frustrating. It's definitely frustrating. But I do want to talk about the big boy's return. Derrick Brown is back, people. Ladies and gentlemen, Derrick Brown returned to his first action with the Carolina Panthers after his meniscus injury last year. As you can see in this picture, no knee brace. Got a fat elbow brace, but no knee brace. Derrick Brown, he looked like a little bit of his old self, man. He looked kind of like his old self. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not. I saw the flashes. The run defense, he played pretty solid. I thought he played pretty solid. I put a nice little thread up on Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter, at Dunk on the Man, shameless plug, you saw that. And I pointed out all his plays. Some of his best plays. The hustle was there. The motor. The strength in the run game. I like that. I think he's still going to be able to build himself up to get back to that dominant 2023 self. But that guy's still in there. He looks healthy. They managed his snaps. He only played 76% of the snaps, I think I put. So they limited his snaps. But he was still active. He was still hustling in the fourth quarter. I thought Derrick Brown looked pretty good. And with the injury to Turk Wharton, I think that changed the game plan a little bit as well. So we'll see if he continues to get that same amount of reps going forward as Turk Wharton is out. Because I think Turk is going to be a big injury because he's a versatile guy. He's a versatile guy. Being that he's undersized and he's a pass rusher, but he's also has some run game upside, he's versatile. So I'm curious to see how Derrick Brown's deployment will be different. Yeah, big ups to DB and the rehab and training staff for sure. Getting them back. So he was in the healing chamber. Yeah, Wharton going down hurt, man. It hurt. But yeah, I'm definitely excited about DB's return. I thought he looked pretty good. But Turk's performance, man. Tershawn Wharton's performance, man, what he was able to do, again, they lined him up over tight ends and let him bully him. They let him bully him. You know what I'm saying? Ended up with 4 tackles on the day. He got a couple he drew 1 or 2 holding calls. He brought the energy, man. He brought the energy. Shout out to my guy, Mr. Luke Cage, on the super chat. Super chats. Let me catch up. Said, sorry I'm late. XL is wide receiver 4. Somebody get Coker a Sensu bean. He's wide receiver 2. No apologies here. I said that on my short, and I feel like I jinxed him. I put a little clip up. I feel like I jinxed Jalen Coker. Isn't that crazy how that happened? Literally the day after we traded Adam Thielen, that boy got hurt. That's just bad luck that the Panthers go through. And then Icky getting an appendectomy, dog. What kind of luck is that? Crazy work. Appreciate that, bro. Let's get to the next one. Sound good, B. Go get me a DC and 4.5 LBs and get Corbett up out of there while we talking. Yeah, I definitely think it's time for a fresh voice. I don't hate the system, to be honest, but it's just plain. It feels plain. And with the guys that we have, you can't play that way. We don't have the talent to just line up and try to out execute guys. You got to get creative. You got to disguise stuff. You got to sit in the house sometimes. You got to mix the coverages. You can't just line up and be what you're going to be in and not disguise your coverages, not bluff any blitzes. It just doesn't help. It doesn't. But we definitely need some linebacker help as well. We'll talk about that in a little bit. In a little bit. All right. The biggest issues, man, on defense, 100% the pass rush. And it's not even close. Not even close. Didn't register a sack. Only had 5 total pressures. DJ Wanham had 3 pressures. Ashawn Robinson had 2. 5 total pressures. We had the lowest pressure rate in the NFL this week. Sad face. The lowest pressure rate in the NFL this week. That boy Trevor Lawrence had all day and tomorrow back there in that pocket to carve us up. It was ugly, man. It was ugly. I don't know what, and I didn't expect our pass rush to be just like all world, but we just don't have the juice. We don't have the juice. Because the 18% pressure rate, boo. If you're listening to audio, I'm putting my thumb down. Put my thumb down. I'm putting my thumb down. Not good. Not good. Again, DJ Wanham had 3. DJ Wanham had a pass rush win rate of 23%, so he led the team there. That's actually not bad. But only 3 pressures? Dog. What quarterback isn't going to be able to win games against you if you're not affecting the quarterback and you're struggling to stop the run? You got to take away something, man. Can't give offenses everything. Like, shoot. What do you, like, dude? 18% pressure rate. What are we doing? And to me, at least give the young guys a shot. I know they played Princely, who has 9 pass rush reps. Scoring got 5 pass rush reps. He had a win rate of 20%. So he had 2 wins out of 5 pass rush reps for Nick Scorton. We got to get Scorton more reps. Got to get Scorton more reps off of just motor alone. We need that. We don't have enough juice, man. We don't have enough juice. We don't. How far away from league average is the 18%? League average is 32. League average is 32. So, not ideal. And granted, this is just one game. One game. But from what I understand, the Arizona Cardinals don't have the best offensive line. Yeah, my goodness. Yeah, from what I understand, Arizona Cardinals don't have the best offensive line. So I think that if you're gonna do it, this would be the opportunity to do it. This would be the opportunity to do it. Get if it ain't happening today, if it ain't happening this week, I don't know, man. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. If it don't happen this week, I'm gonna lose faith in this defense, man. Even more faith. I'm gonna lose even more faith because let's see how Kyler was pressured. Let's see how Kyler was pressured. There were 10 pressures. Kyler's pressure rate was 26.3. So he was pressured on 26.3. The Panthers got after the Jaguars on 18 point something. Something's got to give. But you got to be able to take away something, man. NC moderator said 2 out of 5 is way better than 18%. Get him in the rotation. Straight up, man. Got to get scored on the field. Yeah, I'll talk a little bit more about the Cardinals later this week. But I just wanted to point that out. Because my faith is is wearing thin, guys. It's wearing thin, to say the least. So is my voice. It definitely should be a good matchup for us in terms of just what opportunity for a win. Because that's all we need. All right. Biggest other issue. Trevin Wallace. Trevin Wallace is the biggest issue on this defense after the pass rush. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Again, if you saw my film breakdown, you know why. You know why. He was the lowest graded player on the team according to PFF. This brother was actually horrible on Sunday. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The dude is just the and shout out to Ricky. He said the analogy. He said this brother is playing on dial-up in a game that's built on fiber. This is a fiber internet type of game, and this brother is playing with dial-up. It just, and it's frustrating to see because, man, like, I thought that he was going to be able to make some steps. We heard about him having a nice training camp. But it's clear that he's lost in coverage. He doesn't bring anything in the coverage aspect. He doesn't diagnose routes well. He doesn't have great route recognition. He doesn't get good depth in his drops. He guards grass a lot of times. He did have a couple times where he recognized a running back leaking out of the backfield on a wheel route, and he did that. But that play action touchdown, that first one, was completely on him. It took this dude 2 to 3 business days to realize that that was a fake handoff and not a real handoff. It was bad. It was really bad. It's just, I don't know, bro. I don't know, bro. Instincts and processing, those things are hard to develop. You can know what to do, but if you can't process what to do when it happens, it don't matter. It don't matter. You can know that, okay, hey, when they run play action, there's maybe going to be a guy coming sideways, go up to the chalkboard and write it up there in pretty X's and O's. But when you get on the field, when it's time to say, hey, I see this guy going this way, that means when my film study shows me that means this play is coming or that play is coming. And I think it was all a cute little fun thing when Luke Kuechly was calling out the team's plays and knowing what was coming and being able to do that. But like, Watching Trevin Wallace play and watching Luke Kuechly play, it really shows you what Luke Kuechly, how much of an animal and how smart he was. Because we see what a guy that processes slow and doesn't diagnose and recognize stuff fast enough. We see what that looks like. And then you see, again, Luke Kuechly know the other teams better than they know their own playbook. It's rough, man. It's rough. But like on run plays, when it's a zone play, he doesn't read the blocks. He doesn't take on blocks well. He doesn't read the running backs well. He'll shoot a gap once or twice but it's just tough for him. When it's a gap scheme where you see a guard pulling and wrapping around, he triggers so fast. It's so weird. Because when he sees those power run schemes, those pulling guards, those down blocks, his brain, it moves so fast. He'll get there, and then when he did get there and get to the backfield and read it, he missed the tackle. He missed like 2 tackles for losses doing the same thing. He shot right through to the backfield, got there, and completely whiffed on the running back. And then other times, he doesn't see it. And the brain and body not connecting. It's just, oh man, it's tough. It's tough, man. Because what answers do we have? What answers? Shaq, he ain't coming back. Josie Jewell is retired. Do they do Chris Barnes? Do they get him in the rotation off the bench, off the practice squad? He has starting experience. But right now, it feels like Trevin Wallace is holding the defense back. I thought the linebackers were truly the problem. The D-line wasn't perfect. The secondary wasn't perfect in terms of stopping the run. But the linebacking core was just putrid. And Christian Rosebloom ain't bad. He just ain't good. He's just a guy. But Trevin Wallace has been bad, bro. It's been bad. Monty said he giving Jermaine Carter Jr. vibes. Oh, man. It's tough, man, because this is the guy we got to roll with. Hopefully he gets better. Hopefully he improves as we go. But, man, because we heard he was having a good camp. This brother, he done banged heads with Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard done came to the press conference with a darn unicorn horn on his forehead. Chuba Hubbard came to that press conference with a big old knot. I'm like, dang, this dude Trevin is really knocking heads. This dude caught Chuba slipping in the flats. I'm like, man, Chuba came to that press conference with that knot on his head, bro. I'm like, oh man, Trevin, he really locked in, bro. I'm like, I didn't like what I saw from Trevin as a rookie, but I'm willing to give a guy a chance. It did not translate to Sunday, man. It did not translate to Sunday. And so we'll see what the Cardinals have in store because they do a lot of power runs. Maybe it's an opportunity for Trevin to redeem himself. It's a chance. And again, he's what we got, bro. There's not legit starting linebackers walking around on the streets. They're not. So he's our guy. He's going to have to improve and come through for us. He's going to have to. But man, what I saw Sunday was ugly, man. It was ugly. It was bad. Shout out to Mr. Luke Cage. He said that Trevin Wallace got reverse ultra instinct. He got Sloku. You ain't right, bro. You ain't right. He said he got Sloku. He said Evero had Louvu, Chen, Burns, YGM, and they all left because of him. They thriving and we drowning because of Evero. Evero. Hey, look, man. You said it, man. Other guys are leaving. I mean, Burns, he ain't really thriving, but he got that money. But YGM is playing inside now. YGM's playing inside now. Chen is in Vegas playing ball. Louvu, all pro last year. And these were the type of guys that at one point, Louvu was a playmaker. Chen was a playmaker as a rookie. Those are guys that could have helped us potentially. But appreciate you on the super chat, bro. Said if we play like we did last week, I don't see us winning anything. I just don't think, man. Like, I think a lot of the bright side about last week, a lot of the stuff was fundamental little stuff. Little stuff. It's the little stuff that gets you beat, so you got to really fix it, but it's very, very correctable. I honestly didn't think tackling was that bad. I know Nick Scott got a very, very bad rep for that 170-yard run, but that's a tough tackle to make. It is. But in terms of coverage, I didn't see anything outlandish. But to me, he's just a guy. Nick Scott, just a guy. He's not anybody he's not a playmaker. He's not some steel curtain or impenetrable force back there. If there's not a big margin between the starter, who's a vet, and the backup, who's a young guy, I think you got to play the young guy, or at least give him some snaps. Nick Scott played 100% of the snaps. I don't think Evero trusts the young guys. And I don't blame him. His job is on the line this year. He want to go out swinging. He going to go out with the guys that he knows making his own choices. I also think that's why Dave Canales isn't trying to overstep. He told him that, hey, let's get these young guys involved. I'm pushing to get these young guys involved. But I understand. I'm going to let you cook. You're the de facto coach of the defense. I'm going to let you do your thing. You got final word and say so on that defense. I'm a head coach and play caller on offense. I got my offense to worry about. I'm gonna have my head in the door in y'all meetings and listen and stuff. But I'm not gonna tell you how to run your defense. Said Trevor Wallace and Nick's got nothing beats like a Jet 2 holiday. Said Damani need to play. I just think Damani or Ransom, bro. And to be honest, safety is not the biggest issue. I'll say that. I'll be honest. And which is why my hesitation about him being benched is like, whatever. I don't expect it right away, but I do want to see some more playing time from the young guys for sure. Let's go to our standouts on defense. Who was the standout on defense? I thought Mike Jackson played a game, bro. I know a lot of somebody mentioned Thornton earlier, but I thought Mike Jackson played a great game. Great game. According to PFF, he had a 78.3 cover grade, 1 pass breakup, 2 stops, 4 total tackles. He almost had a pick. First play of the game, they threw that go route. He locked up Brian Thomas Jr., strapped, ball hit him in the right arm. Brian Thomas had his left arm holding it. I thought Mike Jackson had a pretty solid game, man. I was happy about Mike's performance, actually. I thought the secondary overall, in terms of, I guess, the corners, at least, between him and JC, I thought JC played a great game, too. And that's what we're talking about here. J.C. Horn was my other defensive standout. So both your corners played good. They were phenomenal in run support. They were excellent in terms of their tackling and run support. Anytime they tried to bounce outside, they were there. J.C. Horn with a phenomenal interception. 4 targets, 1 catch for 7 yards surrender, and 1 pick. The former highest paid cornerback in NFL history really made a statement in game 1, man. I love the performance that he had. I love the performance from Mike Jackson. We kept Trevor Lawrence at a bad game. We kept him pretty much under wraps numbers-wise. Again, Mike Jackson, he made a play on Travis Hunter, in the screen. He had that PPU to start the game. Multiple tackles on the perimeter. J.C. Horn doing the same thing, getting involved in the run game. I thought our corner showed up. I thought they showed up. Both of them. Another big week from both of them this week with Marvin Harrison Jr. coming into town. So, we'll see. Last year, Mike had a great game against Marvin Harrison Jr. Had a great game. You know? So, I'm excited. I'm excited for that performance. About that performance, excuse me. Yeah, I mean, Ms. Rand said it. He held Brian Thomas Jr. to 11 yards on 1 catch. One of the best receivers in the league. What else? What more can you ask for? Travis Hunter, 28 yards on some ticky-tack dump-offs. What more can you ask for? The lightning delay was definitely a standout because there was no storm there. I was at the game. There was no storm. It rained for 3 seconds, but they had us on a lightning delay. It was some BS because we came out flat and the Jags came out cooking. The defense did enough. 10 points off turnovers. The run game was tough to sustain. They didn't force many punts. I'm not going to lie. They didn't. But again, was it improved from last year? Yes. Yes. That's all we want to see. In the pass game for sure. 2 punts. They forced 2 punts. But so what was the drives? So field goal, punt, after a pick, they gave up a touchdown on the short field. Panthers go punt again. They gave up a touchdown after that. Then the Panthers fumble. So 10 points off turnovers. Then a turnover on downs, and they forced a 3 and out right after the Panthers have a turnover on downs in the third quarter. So they forced a punt then. Then they got a punt coming out in the second half. They forced a punt and an interception and held it to a field goal to start the fourth quarter. Those are 3, and then 3 straight possessions the Panthers went. The offense went turnover on downs, punt, and then turnover on downs. They gave the offense multiple opportunities. And that's not even including the fourth quarter interception. Oh, that is including the fourth quarter. But, come on. The third quarter interception, come on. When you look at it at a high level, practicality level, they gave the offense opportunities. The offense literally did nothing. Nothing complimentary. Nothing complimentary. Shout out to my guy, Mr. Luke Cage, on the super chat. Said the standouts was Horn, Mike Jack, and the lightning delay. Like I said, that lightning delay was some BS, man. I'm not gonna lie. It barely even rained. I came back, my seat was not wet. I paid $18 for a poncho. They robbed me. And it didn't even rain. I saw the forecast. Y'all online, that was, the hour by hour. It looks so nasty. I don't know. It's going to be a sloppy game. I'm like, man, I don't want to pay $18 for a poncho because I left mine at home, but I feel like I have to because if I'm in this rain, I need a poncho. So I paid for a poncho, paid $18. Not one smidgen of rain. That thing sat in my pocket all game. I could have got a refund, but by the time I checked out of the hotel, the gift shop was closed. But I had to get on the road. Now I'm out of $18 and I got a poncho, another poncho. Where do I go where I need a poncho? So defensively, man, all in all, there were some times where they gave the Panthers offense times to get, like I said, third quarter. They forced a punt. The things that really pissed me off about the defense, of course, the big time run. They gave up that field goal right before halftime. That sucked because they had them at midfield. They brought a blitz. The blitz sucked. I showed you on my film breakdown. If you watched the film breakdown, had a chance to really keep points off the board there. They didn't. But again, that's still off of a turnover. It's off of a turnover. And then coming out of halftime, they forced a 3 and out after the Panthers didn't do anything on offense, but they turned the ball over on downs. And I expected the offense to be better. So like, this is what we've seen worse from this defense. We've seen worse performances from this defense. I'll say that. And again, it was only 26-10. Didn't feel that close, but it felt like the score should have been worse, but it was still like, okay, man, if you actually get your stuff together, offense, this can be a game. They didn't. Come on, guys, there's another opportunity. Let's get your stuff together. Let's make it a game. They didn't. And they're running 4-5 minutes on these drives and not getting anywhere. Why do you have a 4-minute drive where you only net 10 yards? In the third quarter, start the third quarter, you have a 29-yard drive with you take off 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Granted, of course, some of that was pass interference, so you're not going to get that. So essentially, a 55-yard drive to 5 minutes, you get no points. Get the ball back after that. A net 10-yard drive on 7 plays, it takes 4 minutes. That's 9 minutes between 2 drives in the third quarter. The quarter is only 15 minutes long. You done burnt the whole quarter out and you got nothing to show for it. But your defense still giving you opportunities. They forced a 3 and out. Then they got you a turnover with J.C. Horn with a pick. I mean, it was already over by then because our offense had done nothing, so there was no hope. But my gosh. The lack of execution, man, it's just frustrating, man. The fundamentals, getting in and out of the play, getting the snap correctly, the silent count being wrong, being up against the play clock, defense, tackling, communicating, people doing their job, being in their gap. I'll be anxious to see how the defense continues to try to improve and build and what the game plan will be for this week. Because last year, James Conner, he had a time. He's a tough tackle. He's big, bruising back, and he gave us everything we can handle. Granted, we were on our 8th and 9th linebacker, but I'm starting to question how big the gap is between that guy and the guys we have now, unfortunately. you know. What happened to the rhythm offense? I don't know, man. I don't know. I ain't gonna lie. But we definitely need to pick it up this week. I want to see the run game get going. We'll talk about the game plan for the Cardinals here a little bit in a few days. But I think there's a lot of opportunity this Sunday. A lot of opportunity. So we're going to see. But this has been an edition of After Further Review. I appreciate all the support and the super chats and everybody tuning in. This will be something I try to do weekly where I break down the numbers and stuff. How did y'all like this? I need some feedback. Let me know. How did y'all like this style of stream where I talk about the standouts, what I saw, just some observations from watching tape, and really talk about the tape. I think I give my film breakdowns, but I don't always talk about the tape on this channel. I'm trying to get more analytical. I'll do better and get more slides and put more words on the slides, but I want it to be engaging. But I just wanted to try something else where I actually break down what I saw on tape. And next week, my voice will be better. Next week, my voice will be better. I hope. I'm not going to the game this Sunday, so I'll get the rest of my voice. I'll get to yell at my TV and still yelling, go defense. So Josh and J47 said they liked it. Kevin said it's cool. Bonnie liked it as well. Okay. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm gonna try to make it a weekly thing, man. That way I can get my feedback on the tape. Maybe I'll have some guests, some other tape watchers on here as well to talk about what we saw. But yeah, I actually was able to get through the tape in a timely manner. I wanted to put something like this out on Tuesday. It's just a regular video, but I thought it'd be nice to stream and talk to you guys about. So I appreciate y'all hearing me out. And like I said, we'll get ready. We'll turn our heads towards Arizona. Video coming, talking about them. Follow me on Twitter. I'm dropping cut-ups of players. I dropped the DB cut-up today, looking at Derek Brown's film breakdown. Again, the copyrights are getting crazy on YouTube, so I'm trying to navigate how to do it. That's why my last video was a little bit more delayed. I tried to get them out on Tuesdays, but the algorithm wouldn't cooperate. But it's getting late. I'm getting out of here, man. Holla at y'all. Appreciate y'all. It's all love. Peace.